A healthy human body has 70% fluid by weight and contains a balance of minerals and trace elements that include the same elements of salt. It is said by medical experts that 80% of people are dehydrated. Hi, I'm Suzanne with Color Energy, and if you are new to our YouTube channel, please subscribe to receive new videos and tips for body, mind, and soul wellness. You can also find related links below for everything I touch on in this video. Now today, I'll be discussing healing with salt and why salt therapy is so important for the body, mind, and soul. Now, during my career as an alternative healthcare professional, I've seen firsthand how dehydrated people are. Now, dehydration affects many aspects of our being, and in fact, many symptoms that we experience during the course of a year can be contributed to dehydration. And since 80% of people are dehydrated, the chances of you being dehydrated are huge. Now, the amount of stress that we're under daily and the quality of our food are key contributing factors to dehydration. That's another reason why we're even more dehydrated today, because 25 years ago, we had little EMF bombardment. And as a holistic practitioner for 26 years, I now see how much more people are dehydrated compared to 26 years ago. Now, indicators that we don't tend to think of that are related to dehydration are things like dizziness, foggy thinking, headaches, joint pain, constipation, and even depression can be related to dehydration. So what can we do about it? It's not as simple as drinking a glass of water, because when we're dehydrated, our cells become atrophied. They shrink, and that means water can't get in even if we drink more water. Now think of it this way: when you're severely dehydrated, water will go right through you, and that's the biggest complaint that people have when they talk to me. They tell me as soon as they drink water, they have to go to the bathroom. That's a major sign of dehydration. And the solution isn't to drink water, because you'll just urinate it out. In order for water to be absorbed into our cells, we need to bring up our level of essential minerals. For example, when soil has an abundance of minerals, our fruits and vegetables are nutritious, as the plant itself is strong and healthy to bear delicious produce. Now, microminerals are the binding agent for our macrominerals. That means the more microminerals that we have in our body, the greater likelihood our cells will be nourished. And think of a plant that hasn't been watered for weeks. If you pour water into the soil, immediately it fills the dish under it. And that's because the soil is undermineralized, and thus the plants can't take in the water. Similarly, we need to replenish the minerals in our body to assist in the absorption of our water levels. And that's where salt comes in. Okay, it's loaded with minerals that help our body, and it creates the right pH level. And I'm not talking about that white iodized salt that's been stripped of its minerals. I'm talking about natural mineralized salts. Much of our nutrients are from our diet, but nowadays that's even lacking in our food. For example, 50 years ago, there was three times the amount of iron in a cup of spinach. Now, because our soils are depleted of minerals, then of course there's that we need the minerals to be that catalyst for the absorption. Now, natural salt crystals from, for example, Andes or Himalayan salts, they replicate our body's natural trace elements, and it's equivalent to our body's cellular fluid. So pure salts can penetrate through the cellular membrane, making it ideal for efficient and successful absorption. And it's almost impossible to absorb too much natural salt. And in fact, natural salt will assist us with getting rid of toxins in our body. So salt crystals are whole food nutrition, providing up to 84 essential minerals. And we need that salt storage for energy. It's the minerals that create the electricity in our energy field and our body's electrolyte activity. Now, regular consumption of natural salts will provide you with more minerals and trace elements than you need, but that's a good thing, because like I said, when you have a lot of minerals, then you can chelate actual toxins that are in your body. So we need to aid in the elimination of toxins. And so by adding extra mineral store in our cells, we can balance our pH levels to be more alkaline. We can reduce inflammatory conditions, and we can detoxify, which boosts our immunity. immunity, and we need that right now. Now, in our blog, you can read more about salt therapy. However, some of the main factors when you're doing salt therapy is only using pure salts. Now, several years ago, I took a nutritional class, and Dr. Tino was teaching the class, and he said, it's better to take a little of something good than a lot of something bad. And that's why I only use Andean salts or Himalayan salts, because they're the best quality. And they come from the mountains, so they're untainted by the rising plastic debris in our oceans. Now, how do you do a salt therapy treatment, you ask me? Well, if you love bathing like I do, then you can just add salts into your bath. And when you're in the bath, take about 60 minutes, because you need 30 minutes to pull out the toxins and then another 30 minutes to actually bring the mineral level back into your body. Now, to increase your body's absorption rate, you have to do regular baths. And this is one of the things that we have to understand. One bath isn't going to do the trick. We have to often do multiple treatments for it to work. Now, in between maybe doing baths, or if you don't like baths, you can do foot baths. And all you have to do is cover your feet in a basin with warm water, add anywhere between a half a cup to 3 cups of any kind of quality salt. And the more salt you add, the deeper the therapy treatment. So when people have a lot of pain and problems, I do recommend often 2 to 3 pounds. And we need that high level of salts to help expel toxins from our body. And just so you know, our feet are directly connected to our kidneys. And our kidneys, when it secretes, too much acids or the pollution that's in our body, this is why even our body, or our feet will sweat actually, is because it's trying to eliminate toxins. Now, one of the things that I do is I turn on the TV, and for a couple hours, I just have my feet in my foot soak, and I'm doing my treatment. And just so you know too, because when you create a strong saline solution, the bacteria growth is impossible, so you can actually recycle it. That's just a little tip for you, that you recycle your foot bath water. Now, you can also make a compress, and that means you make a salt brine, you dip the cloth into the salt brine, and you put it on the area of pain or problem. And again, the more salt that you have in the brine, then, the more powerful it's going to be. And usually, again, I recommend a 90-minute treatment so you can dress that problematic area. Now, one of the things I even do, just so you know, because I talk a lot, sometimes my throat will get stressed out. So I have this beautiful blue natural raw silk scarf, and I dip it in the brine and I wrap it around my throat. Oh yeah, and I wring it out so it's not too wet, but I wrap it around my throat and I allow the minerals to re-energize my throat area. So you can do this with different pieces of clothing, and I talk about this in my blog. Now, also, we can do a salt compress and put it at the back of our head. So for people who suffer from headaches or foggy thinking, then this is a great way to re-energize our brain. I've even recommended to people to take a hat and put that in the brine and wring it out. So we can do a variety of things. Now, salt therapy revitalizes areas that are lacking in the absorption of our nutrition, and this is why we have pain or problems. That salt will recognize and create electricity back in that area and create an alkaline state. I even have a naturopathic doctor that purchases Andean salts from me, and she actually teaches her clients how to make a salt brine, and then just throughout the day take little sips of the salt brine to re-energize the electrolyte activity within the body. Now, what I'm going to do is teach you how to make a salt brine. It's really, really simple. I like to use like a mason jar, and you can put about 1 cup of salt in there and pour 1 cup of pure hot water. And you can boil it if you want, but as long as it's clean water, good water, and that will actually help to make the salt disappear. And you just mix the salt. Don't use a metal stir stick. Use something that's either plastic or wood, and mix the salt until it starts to evaporate. And when the salts have pretty well evaporated, that is a 26% saline solution, and that's what we call a brine. Now, when you're making that brine, you can close the lid when you're not using it, or whenever you need it, you can just open it up and soak your cloth, and you can use like a face cloth or anything along that line, and just store it afterwards. Now you can refill that container over and over again and just continue with the process, because every time you dip a cloth in, you're using some of that up. Now here's another tip. You could even make a salt spray. Simply put your brine mixture into a spray bottle, and then you can spray areas of your body that need those extra minerals. I'll even spray the nape of my neck when I get a stiff neck from being on my laptop too much. Also, FYI, I don't use Epsom salts due to the high level of sulfur. Andes salts are the best because the crystalline structure is similar to the human bodies. Also, that makes them more absorbable. Our Andean salt is also a table salt. You can use it just as a regular salt for cooking, to adding to your food if you'd like. And sometimes when you're craving salt, that's one of the reasons why you're craving it, because you need those minerals. And when you're making, if you're dipping a shirt in or socks in, then again, you can even sleep with a shirt or socks on all night. Just remember to put extra clothing on so you don't wet your linen. And remember, it can take months to feel their full effects, because when you have areas in your body that are demineralized, I actually read somewhere that it takes 1 month to reverse every year of pain or problem that you've had. So if you've been dehydrated for several years, you got to imagine that it could take a few months to get back into good repair. And remember, stress steals your body mineral reserves. So even though you don't realize that you can become dehydrated due to the amount of stress you have in your life. Now, to learn more, go to Color Energy's blog page to discover other methods to revitalize your body, mind, and spirit. And stay tuned for more wellness tips in our Body, Mind, and Soul-inspired series from Color Energy. Visit colorenergyshop.com and you'll find some of the products that I mentioned in this video there. And remember to like or subscribe our YouTube channel.